If your spouse is cheating on you with someone who is part of your family, it's possible that they have been doing this for years before you found out. But sometimes people go to such great lengths to cover up their mistakes that even after all the evidence has been laid bare, you still can't believe that they would do something so terrible. This was exactly what happened in the case of Kazi and Mike Jones. The couple had just celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary, and things were going well for them. Their kids were grown up and out of the house, and they were enjoying their retirement together. So when one day Casey's daughter came to stay with them for a while, they were quite happy to host her. But little did they know that she wasn't just coming to visit, but rather to spy on them. What did she find out about her parents? Why did she have to spy on them? What was the big secret that she uncovered? Stay tuned until the end of this video to find out more in this story called She Spied for the Enemy Family. Kazi and Mike were excited when their daughter Brittany came to stay with them for a few weeks. They hadn't seen her in a long time because she lived far away and only came to visit occasionally. During her previous visits, everything had been fine, and they enjoyed spending time with her. She was a sweet young woman who always listened to her parents and never gave them any trouble. But this time, right from the first day she arrived, something was off. She seemed moodier than usual and spent a lot of time alone in her room. Her parents tried to talk to her about it, but she just told them that she needed some space and that they shouldn't worry about it. On the third day, her mother, Casey, decided to follow her to see where she was going during these outings. She didn't want to invade her privacy, but she was worried about her and wanted to make sure that everything was okay. She followed Brittany to a nearby shopping mall and saw her enter a clothing store. Casey thought that maybe her daughter was just buying some new clothes, and that's why she had been acting so weird lately. So she went home without following her any further. When Brittany returned home, Casey asked her about the clothes store. She told her that she just liked browsing in there because they had really good stuff. Then she went back to her room and closed the door. Casey couldn't shake off this feeling that something was wrong, though, so she decided to follow her daughter again the next day. This time, she followed Brittany to a coffee shop where she met up with a guy. The two of them sat down and started talking. And although Casey couldn't hear what they were saying, she could see that Brittany was very comfortable around this guy. She also noticed that he kept glancing at his watch every few minutes like he was waiting for something. Suddenly, the guy stood up and walked out of the coffee shop. A few moments later, Brittany left as well. Casey followed them to an ice cream parlor nearby where she saw them buy 2 cones and walk down the street. The couple looked very happy together and Casey couldn't help but smile. It seemed as if her daughter had found a nice boyfriend. She returned home and waited for Brittany to arrive. When she did, she asked her about the guy she had seen her with. Brittany blushed and told her that he was just a friend. Casey knew that this was a lie, though, but decided not to push her daughter for more information, since she seemed embarrassed about it. She let the subject drop, and the three of them spent the rest of the day playing board games. However, Casey couldn't stop thinking about the guy she had seen Brittany with. Something about him seemed familiar, but she couldn't put her finger on it. She decided to investigate and went through all of the pictures on her phone to see if she had taken a picture of the guy by mistake. She found one blurry picture of him outside the coffee shop and zoomed in on it to get a better look. That's when she realized who it was. It was her husband's younger brother, Mark. Mark had always been a bit of a troublemaker and had a reputation for getting into fights. He was also known for having a lot of girlfriends, but none of them ever lasted very long. Casey had always liked Mark, though, because he was funny and charming, even if he was a bit of a scoundrel. She had even had a crush on him when she was younger, but she got over it quickly once she realized that he wasn't serious about settling down. So when she saw that he was in a relationship with her own daughter, she was shocked and heartbroken. How could her loving, loyal husband be cheating on her with her own flesh and blood? And how could Brittany, the girl who had always been so obedient and respectful, betray her in such a way? Casey confronted Mike about it, but he denied everything. He said that Mark was just a good friend of the family, and that there was nothing going on between him and Brittany. Casey didn't believe him, though, and decided to gather more evidence to prove that he was lying. She started by going through all of Brittany's text messages, but couldn't find anything incriminating. She then went through Mike's phone, but his text messages were password protected, and she couldn't access them. She was about to give up when she remembered that Mike had a laptop in his office. Maybe he kept his text messages there. She went to his office and started searching for the files. It was a messy office, and it took her a while to find what she was looking for. But eventually she found the file containing all of Mike's text messages. She opened it and started reading. She read through the messages, her heart sank. They were exactly as she had suspected. Mike and Brittany had been cheating on her for months now. The two of them had exchanged intimate pictures and had been planning to run away together for a long time. Casey felt betrayed and angry. She had loved her husband for so many years and had never thought that he would do something like this to her. She confronted him with what she had found, but he just laughed and told her that she was crazy. He said that he would never leave her for Brittany, and that there was no reason for them to run away together. Casey didn't believe him, though, and packed her things. She was done with him, and didn't want to stay in the same house as him. She moved in with her sister and started seeing a therapist to help her cope with the trauma. Meanwhile, Brittany and Mike continued their affair in secret. They were careful not to let anyone else know, but it was only a matter of time before they were caught. A few months later, Brittany became pregnant. She told her boyfriend that she didn't want a baby, but he insisted on keeping it. She knew that this meant that she would have to tell her mother what had happened. She had been trying to avoid that for so long, but now there was no way out of it. She went to see Casey and told her that she was pregnant. Casey was furious and told her that she deserved this punishment. She had brought this upon herself by betraying her own mother. Brittany cried and begged for forgiveness, but Casey was not having it. She told her that she needed to learn from her mistakes and that there was no place for her in her life anymore. Brittany went back home and told Mark the news. He was angry at first, but eventually agreed to take responsibility. The two of them decided to get married and start a family together. When Casey heard about their marriage, she was furious. She knew that her daughter had only married him out of obligation, and that she was still in love with her uncle. She felt sorry for the poor girl because she knew that she had made a big mistake. Despite all this, though, Casey tried to move on with her life. She threw herself into her work and started seeing a personal trainer to get in shape. She also joined a dating website and started seeing a few men. She knew that she would never forget what her husband and daughter had done to her, but she was determined to move on.